on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, this is Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen. Presented by Oak Knoll Retirement Community. Oak Knoll, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City community for 59 years. Also brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Powered by the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Bud Light, proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Also brought to you by University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist, made right here in Iowa since 1895. And by your local Ford dealers. Here's Rob Brooks.
Well, 2 in a row for the Iowa Hawkeye women's basketball team. A home win last week against Washington and a big road W last Monday morning at Nebraska, 80-67. Really wasn't that close for the Hawkeyes, and it's the 20th win of the season. Now ranked 13th in the AP, 20-5 overall, 11-3 in conference play, and have 10 consecutive seasons now of 20 wins or more as we get ready for a quick turnaround to get ready for the Purdue Boilermakers in West Lafayette on Thursday as we welcome you to Hawk Talk, and we'll be back at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar next Monday. Of course, we're recording this for Wednesday before the Ben McCullum Show, which is live at the hotel as the Hawks are in West Lafayette getting ready for Purdue. But we've got plenty to talk about, 2 big wins and 2 big ones coming up and coming down the stretch. Just 4 regular season games left to go until the Big Ten tournament. And Ava Hiden, of course, just terrific against Nebraska. Tied her career high with 27 points and a double-double with 11 rebounds. And also has reached double figures in 13 straight games and against all 13 Big Ten opponents this season. And it was Heiden's second career 20-point double-double. And a lot of great things on Monday morning. I like those 11 o'clock tip times.
I like it when we win. I like it when we win.
Don't know if the players do, but you get up, get rolling, and certainly a great trip over to Nebraska. And that was a scary game because, as we had talked in the pregame show and you before that Nebraska kind of in a desperation mode. They're used to going to the NCAA tournament and have had very good teams and have struggled a little bit in conference play this year, but trying to make a push and knew that was an important opportunity for them to try to get a quad one victory. But the Hawks said not today and got off to a great start.
Yeah, I was really thrilled because, that game, you're playing a desperate team, but also, the Nebraska rivalry, football, all the sports, right? It's that border war. And honestly, our rivalry with Nebraska, I think, is really a respectful, more of a fun one. I have a good relationship with Amy. But, it's hard to win on the road, and all bets off on rivalry games, right? And then when you're facing someone that, they had not yet, they were going for their first quad one win. So when you're playing and you're in that mode, it can go usually one of 2 ways. And that's what I told our team. I said, we faced some teams, playing for something before. We played at Indiana right that first half, and Northwestern wanted to get a big win. And I said, this is a time when we got to come out swinging. And I really think we came out and punching, and we really had a great start that really sustained us the whole game.
Led 25-13 after the first quarter. Nebraska scored first, and then the Hawks went on a run. And it was 3-pointers. It was paint points, and that just really seemed to set the tone when Strem was knocking some down. Kylie hit one, and then Ava obviously got going early. We mentioned her 27 and 11 12 of 15 from the floor. That's more what you're looking for, right?
It really is. It's it's so funny when our posts, as they're growing up and maturing, it's just that's kind of the expectation. And I've always felt like, we're closer to the basket, so we should be able to score a larger percentage or higher percentage. And so my expectations for the post, I know sometimes they can feel a little heavy for them as they're developing, but I think Ava has the potential to certainly be one of the best. Now, certain post bodies, she's got to continue this type of numbers, right? Because with the post play, sometimes you play a really big post player, strong and big at the block. Sometimes you play more of a player that's like you, which is what Ava played yesterday. They have one post that's a little bit just your back to the basket. But if we can continue getting this play from Ava, now when we go to Purdue's lineup, they have a 6'7" young woman, a 6'6" young woman, and a 6'5". So that is some really, really big bodies that she's going to have to navigate offensively and defensively. So my challenge to Ava is no matter if they're skinny, wiry, tall, or short, big, strong, you have to utilize your strengths to continue that type of efficiency. And I think Ava, she showed that prowess in that second half of UCLA game. So I know that it's clicking and she's trending in that consistency direction. I'm really, really proud of her.
And this wasn't a layup drill. She was knocking down jump shots and then some highlight reel shots as well, catching them in the air, throwing up behind her back, and
that was
right
really
in.
Great clock awareness. There was a shot clock. Addie had to get something off, and Ava just was able to rebound and flip it over. So that was really it was a really fun game for Ava. And our post, we do have really good range. Journey has a nice elbow shot and the short corner, and so does Ava. And sometimes your mind can play tricks on you if people are daring you to shoot it. But I'm really confident in them taking it. So it was fun to see Ava hit those yesterday because she certainly has been working on it.
Well, to put 4 players in double figures and then another one with 9, as Taylor Stremlow had a career-high 17 on 6 of 7 shooting from the floor and 3 out of 4 from three-point range. And Chit-Chat had 14, 5 of 8, good percentage. And then Journey Houston, you just mentioned, 5 of 7 coming off the bench, knocked down some jumpers, had 10 points in over 18 minutes. And watching her in shoot-around, and you go through the three-point drills, she's got a three-point shot, too, that people better recognize in the future.
Yeah, and I think that'll be what's fun in the future, just where we need to play, makes the most sense for Journey right now where she's developing, and where we need some of our the backup is in that 4 spot. But she's hit a couple, 3, I know at least 1 in the season so far. But her ability to shoot out there is really, really great, and you're going to continue seeing that hopefully progress, throughout her career.
First quarter, Hawkeyes 10 of 14, 71%. Second quarter, 9 of 14, 64%. 9 of 14 in the third, 64%. Really astounding numbers on the road, and especially some really tough shots, transition. Shots, three-pointers. It wasn't just all fast break layups.
Yeah, I thought we showed more and more stretches we stacked a lot more minutes and where we were making a lot better reads in the high-low game, but our guards were taking the drives. They were kicking it. We had a better understanding, I think, of that offense yesterday. And it was just fun to see us be able to really play it with ease. And, that's the part of the, this offense, you have to take a little time and make the read and then make the action. Also, we're a little younger than we're older. But this offense is new for everyone. So it's, it ebbs and flows at different times. But when we're hitting at the spots we need to be hitting in, it can really open it up for every player on the floor.
Let's not forget about the defense, too. Britt Prince, and everything runs through her. Just a terrific guard, leading scorer, averaging over 17 points a game. Had 13, but 4 of 8 from the field, and really had to work extensively to get any good look. Did knock down some free throws, but that defense on her. I know you've got to be pleased with those numbers and just the attention to detail throughout.
Yeah, and that's one thing when, I was watching the film and we were watching the film, is if you can just make them feel a little bit more uncomfortable and just kind of maybe make them catch it just a half a step farther out than they'd like to, and just not let Britt start so confidently, especially when she can come off those rail ball screens. And if you let her get downhill and get into her money pull up, and she starts off on a heater, it's a long afternoon. So we were really just we challenged, Kylie and our team just to come out with a defensive punch. And that usually bodes well for us. When we've had our best games, it's usually our defense that's been our heart and soul. And I really believe our offense, it was so good yesterday because we were getting such juice from that defense when we started the game. And, our defense, that can always stay steady. It's the times, when I've been disappointed this year is when we've just lacked a little bit of that urgency or intensity on the defensive end. So I think Kylie, she held the team to that high standard, because if she's working that hard on Britt, we can work that hard on everybody else. So I was really, really pleased with that defense.
And it certainly worked out. Petrie, 0 for 2 from 3. Nisley, 2 for 5, just got 6 attempts, and overall 4 of 19 from 3 against a good three-point shooting team.
Yeah, Nebraska scares you because they do have a lot of weapons, and their center Petrie, she I think hit 3 on us at home when we played here. We just knew that you just can't let a three-point shooting threat team believe that they are all on. And, if you get them, a 15-point lead can go real quickly if you give up back-to-back threes. So I thought our attention to detail and knowing the scout has been really exceptional the last couple of games. I think, I've liked how we've gotten back to, us. I talked to yesterday before the game. I said, we need to be us. We're playing this opponent. We want to do X, Y, and Z, but we've got to be us. And I really thought we did a really good job of that.
And did you feel that kind of started back at the Washington game?
I did. I thought that we got sometimes, for lack of a better word, we were a little sloppy in our understanding or attention to the scouting report for a while. Not that it wasn't like they weren't caring, they weren't trying, but I think the attention to detail and really studying it and knowing, like, okay, this kid I go over the screen, this kid I go under the screen. I really got to box this kid out. I got to really pay attention to the left shoulder of this post. It's the right shoulder of that post. I felt like, I don't know if we were just in a little bit of a funk, but even in our shoot-arounds, that's typically when you go through your out-of-bounds plays. But in shoot-around, we would just, kind of forget we switched with these guys, but we don't switch with those guys. But, man, the 2 practices leading up to Washington, I felt like I saw us again. And then we played a really pretty sound defensive game against Washington. And then, it was coming a little bit. We had some decent minutes. Offense still not where I would have liked to have seen it. But yesterday, I thought we had a much better, that start was great. And I thought we pretty much handled it different times throughout the game. The fourth quarter, they got on a little bit of a run. We kind of, we got a little tentative. But overall, I think, just what I'd seen in the practices leading up to Washington and the Washington game, we didn't skip a beat. And I was really happy about that.
Yeah, held Washington to 5 points in the second, and that's probably part of them. But still, 5 points. And then 11 in the fourth. And get that 65-56 victory, and much needed at that time. The crowd was into it, and it's good to win different ways sometimes.
Well, I think that's the mark of a successful season. Is you have to win different ways, and sometimes it's not pretty, sometimes it's really smooth, sometimes it's tough sledding, sometimes you have to win physical, sometimes you have to win with your transition, sometimes they take that away and you got to win, just kind of methodically trying to answer with your offense. And I think at the end of the day, as long as you can stack a lot more W's, there's no asterisk in a W column. how you did it. It's just if you got it. And I feel like this team, they're still growing and improving. And that's the unique thing for me this year is we grasp it a little better typically every day. We get a little bit more comfortable with a certain read. We get a little bit more comfortable with an understanding of like, oh, that now I get it, right? And that's still fun when you're in the middle of February. And that's, I think, it can also be, though, you'll have a game where it's like the things that they did know, all of a sudden they just forget that read. And then they keep trying to force it in a place that there's no drive there. Remember, we don't drive here, we drive there. And then when they watch it on film, it's like, oh yeah. And so there's those moments, but I take that much more positively because we are, a lot younger than we're older. Certainly everybody's starting to mesh. But that's what I like about where we are now. If we can just keep holding on and stacking good days, better days, wins, is that this team for this season and all I think that can happen, the rest of February and into March and hopefully April, but certainly in the future, it's really, really fun.
And it's an exciting time of year. Here we got 4 regular season games left to go, 4 big ones, and then conference tournament, NCAA tournament. So it's got to be really a nice feeling to be sitting where you are with so much to look forward to.
It really is. And that's I think the trick right now is, we're in a great spot, right? The greatest spot would be UCLA spot, right? But where this team is, now from where everybody was kind of wondering where we could be in the beginning of the year is we're sitting at a good spot for postseason play. But we get the opportunity to keep stacking wins to, help our seeding, right, in the Big Ten tournament, to hopefully help our chances in the NCAA and possibly to host, right? There's still a long 4-game stretch here, but keeping them loose and feeling really grateful to have that kind of pressure versus what we faced yesterday, right? Because if you coach long enough, you face every kind of pressure. And, I know the Nebraska staff, they really wanted to have that. And the team, I'm sure Nebraska really wanted to. And they had that we gotta feeling. And, now they got to reshift it. They got a few more games to get where they want to go. But for us is, embracing that and know that this pressure is kind of the most fun pressure. Is that, man, we're considered a top team. I believe we are. Now let's just keep topping it. And I think yesterday I really was pleased that I think they struck that balance. They didn't go playing tight. They went out there, full throttle. And if we can continue doing that, for this next, 4-game stretch and then start that new season, I really think there's such, great possibility for us.
And it kind of goes back to, and you've mentioned throughout the year that every game is very meaningful. And you go back to this really good start in January.
Yep.
Meaningful games, and it really is exposed now how meaningful they were.
Oh, absolutely. And that sometimes it's so hard, when you're a player, the early, especially when you're a freshman, it's like January and you have all these games of the Big Ten left, right? And you don't know the importance of that very first Big Ten game to set the tone, right? And, like as a coach, is like if you get a few, top wins, right? Or you're playing team that you should win, it's like you got to have that. You got to have this. You're stacking it. And I think sometimes it just seems like it's in the distance when they're really going to matter. But if you can get a team to really understands that the game, December 31st when you play or January 1st in the big is just as important as the one you're going to play on February 17th, then you're talking. But it takes a little doing to get a team to realize that. And sometimes the overall organization, the fan base, right? Because that's the thing. We didn't look good against that game. Well, I don't know. I don't think they're going to do this. But it's just like you got to just keep stacking it, and you got to take one how you get it. And I think this team has done a really good job of that so far.
Yeah, you go back to early December and trip out to Rutgers to get it started. I mean, you want to be 1-0 at that point.
Oh, absolutely. And that was
matters a lot now.
It sure matters a lot now. Absolutely.
Well, Jen, how about the Hawkeye fans? A lot of black and gold inside.
That was so great.
Big Red Arena, Pinnacle Bank, and you could hear the Let's Go Hawks
Yeah.
throughout, which is it's so great on the road when that takes place.
It is so great, and I've felt it. You hear it. Sometimes you don't hear everything, but one time we were making that run, you could hear it. But it was fun. I got home and talking to my kids, Jack and Janie, but Jack was saying, he's like, man, you could just hear it coming through the TV. That was so cool. And I said, yeah, it was pretty awesome. And what I love, for folks that live on the western side of the state, right, or in Nebraska or up by Sioux City, I talked to a few fans afterwards when they were signing some autographs, or players were. It's just so great for them. They can travel an hour if they can get those tickets and see their Hawks. And I just always feel so happy when they get to come meet our team, and then it's just icing on the cake when we can see them after a win. So I just can't thank our fan base enough. Carver, man, I've just said it so many times, but it's so true. There's no place like Iowa. Nope. And when like that, showing up on the road at Nebraska, man, I think back to our Northwestern game, all the Hawk fans there, is when our Hawks can show up, they do, and it makes such a difference.
Even had a contingent at Rutgers.
We sure did.
We
did. It was amazing. Amazing. I mean, we just we love all of you guys, and it really is what makes this program so special, and it just separates us because the fans, they're with us thick and thin, right? And there's always going to be people on the periphery, but the heart and soul of a true Hawkeye fan is there's nothing better. And I personally can't thank everybody enough. I wish I could just reach out and give everybody an individual hug because they mean so much to our recruiting, but certainly to our players. Believe me, they heard those chants yesterday too.
And all the signs. They're not there just to sit and watch the game. I mean,
Absolutely.
They are into it, prepare. Yeah. And the players just got to love it.
Oh, they do. I mean, they just feel they feel special. They know they're part of something special when that many people care to support them, and they love to have success and share that with our fan base. And we just know we got something special, and we just keep working like crazy to keep that relationship going.
One more point on the Nebraska game. They made a run, as you would expect, in the third quarter. You call a timeout. And almost had back-to-back timeouts there. And then that second half of the third quarter, boy, that was a great response.
It really was. I was really pleased with that response because when you have responses like that, subconsciously those kids can draw on that, right? Because this is a game of runs, right? This is a game we play has runs. The game we play has momentum both ways. And when they can respond like that to, a timeout and get reset and then come out and come right back swinging and punching. That's really great data to store, data to look back upon, and gives you confidence knowing that we might need that Thursday night. We might need that again Sunday. We might need that again, against Illinois, close out at Wisconsin and then into the tournament. But that was about as good of a response we've had all year to run.
And it somewhat demoralizes the opposition. Here we make a chance, make a run to get back into the ball game, and opposition takes care of it.
It does. I mean, you've been on both sides of it. I wish I was always on this side of it.
It's
but
much more fun.
Oh,
right?
yeah. But I remember you're doing that, and you work really hard.
Yep.
You take down a double-digit lead, and bam, it's back-to-back threes, and you're like, what just happened, right? So I'm really, really proud of our team's performance yesterday.
Hawkeyes win 2 in a row. Get ready to head to West Lafayette and take on the Purdue Boilermakers on Thursday night. That is a 6 o'clock tip Central Time. Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen is presented by Oaknall. It is Oaknall's mission to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City area for 59 years. Oaknall is conveniently located near University of Iowa Healthcare Campus, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, and downtown Iowa City. A proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Don't forget, throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. Thank you to Iowa's corn farmers who lead the nation in corn and ethanol production, feeding and fueling us all. Go to iowacorn.org to learn how corn grows Iowa. We'll have more Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen presented by Oaknall from Learfield.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oak Knoll is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
When your bank tells you they're going to charge you, on average, $34 for non-sufficient funds fees, tell them no thank you. At Community Choice Credit Union, NSF fees are $10 because we want to be fair, not punishing. Boy, isn't that an unusual idea? Expect more from where you bank. And the next time your bank charges you more than they need to, tell them no thank you. Learn more at nothankyou.com.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Ben McCullum. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
RE/MAX is the official real estate partner of Iowa Athletics, and we understand there's a number for everything: square footage, down payment, interest rates. But how do you measure the trust you have in your agent? For a RE/MAX agent, it's not about numbers on a contract. It's being a trusted RE/MAX agent. That means you'll get honest advice, expert guidance, and someone who's committed to your success. Because while numbers count, trust is what truly matters. RE/MAX, the official real estate partner of Iowa Athletics. Each office independently owned and operated.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oak Knoll. We'll be back at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar, our home away from home on Monday nights. We'll be back there next Monday. We miss our group this
we
week,
do miss our group. I know. I love being here with you and our lovely producer and our filmer. But we have to do what we got to do.
That's right.
We got to take care of business at Purdue, but we'll look forward to seeing everybody live on Monday.
Absolutely. As a proud sponsor of the Iowa Hawkeyes, U.S. Cellular wants you to make the most of today by choosing game day traditions first and scrolling later. U.S. Cellular is built for us. Also, the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative is proud to be the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye women's basketball all season, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Learn more at uiowaenergycollaborative.com. We got some leftover questions, Coach, from the last week or so, and this is a timely one. Tyler from Creston, Ava Hiden has certainly elevated her game as of late. What have you seen in her confidence and leadership the last couple of weeks? She was all smiles on Monday for sure.
Yeah, she was. You know, after probably when Taylor, sadly, McCabe injury, I always visit with, the players. But I had Ava come in and I just said, hey, we all gotta pick it up a little bit here, and just really visited with her about, her growth, and kind of the next step is, now you can, you've earned the status to become a little bit more of that leader. You got to carry the load a little bit more vocally. You're not yet a captain, but the efficiency that we need from you moving forward, it's now gotten a little bit higher. And you've kind of shown that you've, earned the pass inside. Now the way of which you can, I think play and live in that role. And just try to empower her with that. And I think that she really responded, and I think she was excited about that. And, just has had a nice, just a growth. She's, going. She's, not going to always be perfect and have these 12 for 15 nights, but that's what we're shooting for. And I think she really is desiring that. And as she's growing, I think she's able to look a little bit outside of just her own, role. Is like, okay, I got to do what I got to do, but I'm doing it for the guards, and I got to keep her in check. I got to keep her calm. I got to, position myself to make that pass easy for her. I got to defend. I got to make sure that Hannah's doing this, and if Hannah's making sure that Ava's doing this, that's when it really starts to be really, really beautiful. And I think that Ava is really, really doing that really well, and certainly has since the last week and a half.
How tough is it to build leaders that maybe like to do it more by example than in the circle or hyping somebody up for a game, but maybe players can develop that as their career moves along.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's different, actually different plateaus of success for each type of introverted leader, right? Megan Gustafson was definitely more by way of what I do. She didn't talk a whole lot, but when she did, it was listened to, right? And you kind of have to just kind of watch them move and how they're really interacting. And then as a coach how much you can push and expect, like from a, do it for the Gipper type of speech from someone, or you just have to fan the flame of how they do it. And if you can just get maybe a do it for the Gipper sentence every 2 or 3 games when it's needed, that's the ultimate, is when you can start to know what you can get out of them verbally that will be enough. So it's every player's a little bit different. It takes time. Some people are just kind of born chatter leader. They can just gravitate or get everybody to gravitate towards them. But that's I think the unique challenge and cool part of coaching is you kind of have to watch it and then try to see and lead them to the place that you think they can go.
And I'm sure during the recruiting process early in somebody's career, maybe you can see some glimmers that, hey, this is what this could become in a year or so.
Absolutely. And, by positions, right? If you look at quarterbacks, they have to be a little bit more, leaders and talkers. And I'm sure there's a few more quieter guys that lead a team. Your point guards, that's the same thing. If they're a little more quiet, that's harder. And that's with Chit Chat. It's a little bit more of a challenge because you've really, we're working on really empowering her to use her voice a little bit more, not just her skill set. Bigs, actually, they're never that really gregarious and just come at you as a leader. On occasion, you'll get someone like that, but typically they're a little laid back or reserved until you get going and get them in action. So it's the long and short of that. In the middle, that's always kind of a crapshoot, right? Just how a kid's wired. But if you could draw it up, you definitely want to keep your point guard, your quarterbacks, definitely the vocal ones. And you'd like it if you're bigs, because they're usually your anchors, if they can get to a point at least that they can deliver a sentence or two. But I think Ava is doing a great job. She's got more than a sentence, and she's really, I think, confidently leading by her actions.
I heard her in the press conference yesterday trying to describe that shot off of Addie's miss at the end of the shot clock, catching it almost in midair and then flipping up behind her head. That's a tough one to go through and describe, especially when it looked so easy for her.
It did. I mean, I just thought that was such a heads-up play because, she had no time to catch it and gather for a left hand. She just had to catch and scoop it with that reverse, and it was just fun that it went in. And that was just like, you're creating, sometimes you create your luck, right, with that. Is like the way she was just approaching that game, and I think our attack mode of all the players, it just it gives you a shot at a play like that. Because you're so tuned in that if it's a mishap, right, because Addie had to force something up, but Ava could save it like that. So I kind of was, I petitioned to, could we call that an alley-oop from Addie?
I like it. And we've seen enough wild shots on the other side.
No, we
too,
sure
right?
have. We needed one of those.
That's right. Rachel in Knoxville, talking about bench production and how important has that been as you head down the stretch here in Big Ten play. And some coaches maybe shrink that bench a little bit when games get a little tighter. What's your philosophy on that?
Well, I think it is, you usually do kind of, it shrinks a little bit this time of year. And that's the hard part, because there's a lot of different opinions. Everybody would play certain players at different times. And, I've spoken a lot about that in the middle of the year. I try to use a lot of objectivity, and obviously you got to use some subjectivity. But the way that it's been rolling in practice, and you're finding, we had to reform after Taylor went down. And so when you're reforming, you're just trying to look at things a lot of different ways and a lot of different angles. And I really like how our bench playing. Sometimes, people get so caught up on stats. Fan bases do, maybe, certain players do, and their families or circles. But, if you can come off the bench and you can defend and you can hold serve and you can make that offense run, it has nothing to do with maybe your point production. You're just moving the whole ship forward. And I think we have some really, really great play coming off the bench that is helping us be successful. And sometimes you don't have the glaring stats, but there will be a time where we will. There'll be a time when an Addie's going to pop it again, or, Journey's been playing pretty solidly, but she might have to have a game where, she's got to play longer minutes because there's foul trouble and she's ready. Addie and Journey, they're ready. Layla got in some crazy foul trouble yesterday, right? Just unfortunate, because I would have liked to play her a little longer stretches. So it just this time of year, you're getting down to the thick of it, and just like in the middle, you don't have a lot of time to experiment in a game, but you're getting closer to the people who have been pretty consistent in practice. You're pretty sure they're going to be pretty consistent in games.
We'll have more with Coach Jensen as we have another season here of Hawk Talk, and we'll be back live at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar next Monday, located next to the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, right in the heart of the Iowa River Landing. You want to try and come and see the brand new menu with the dishes like duck stroganoff and farmer's pie, cinnamon crusted rack of lamb, while you enjoy listening to the conversation about Hawkeye basketball every week. So some new menu items at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. To learn more about their menu, you can also visit their website at watermillkitchen.com. Also share a taste of Iowa tradition with the Eat Shop's famous cinnamon rolls and handmade pies. They're worth every bite. You can pre-order now at theeatshop.com. We'll have more Hawk Talk with Coach Jensen, presented by Oaknall from Learfield.
Dives for lunch.
The Juicy Lucy. Essentially, it's a burger, but with cheese on the inside.
James Beard Award winners for dinner.
French technique, but Midwestern ingredients. It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
Country sensation Carly Pierce is coming to Riverside Casino and Golf Resort Saturday, March 7th. She lit a fire with her debut album, Every Little Thing, and hasn't slowed down since, with hits like What He Didn't Do and Heels Overhead, to duets like I Hope You're Happy Now. She's sure to burn up our event center stage. Grab your tickets now at riversidecasinoandresort.com or visit our gift shop.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
You asked for all the extreme internet performance at an all-in price, and we listened. Get 1 gig internet with a 2-year price lock and everything included. Unlimited data for non-stop streaming, powerful Wi-Fi for enhanced coverage, built-in online threat protection, and internet equipment. All for just $65 a month for 2 years. It's the extreme 1 gig internet deal you asked for. Call 844-4FASTER or visit extreme.com for details. Offer available to new customers only. Price doesn't include one-time charges, tax, and government fees.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Save time when you shop online with Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee makes it easy to order groceries online through our app or Hy-Vee.com. Pickup is always free. And if you have a Perks Plus membership, you get free delivery and free express pickup. Shop online with Hy-Vee and you can create and save grocery lists. Shop the sales and get fuel savers. Talk about convenience. Order groceries online today. Check out Hy-Vee.com or download the Hy-Vee app.
In Minnesota, we don't hide from winter. We embrace it. When there's a nip in the air, we take on the trails. For every layer you wear, there's a new experience waiting for you.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
More Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oaknall, and we'll be back live at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar next Monday. Of course, Ben McCullum, his show will be coming up live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar right after this as the Hawks get ready for Purdue, and then a home game against Michigan on Sunday. Should be a terrific atmosphere. Yeah, that's 11 o'clock, too, so it's good to have an 11 o'clock one under our belts. Huh?
Yes, definitely. You know, we've had...
and no travel.
No travel, which would be nice. You know, we had the UCLA game was that was last year. We played... this year we played someone at noon. Who was it? We've had one game at noon.
The UCLA was like noon Central.
Central, yep. And there was one here. It might have been a Fairfield or someone this year. We played earlier at New York. So we've had some experience with those. And now being at home, I'm glad we'll be at home with this. And hopefully we can have the same result.
Michigan, number 2 in the conference right now. They're had a 3-point game with UCLA last week, so they're formidable.
Yeah, they really are. We'll get to them, right? But first things first with the Purdue game, right. You know, that's everybody can say, oh, that's the trap game, and it can be. But I really feel like our players are, you know, pretty locked into understanding that this league, anything can happen. Purdue's had a couple wins. They beat Washington. That was earlier in the year. So they're capable, right? Then they've had somewhere that you think, oh, they didn't play as well. But they have that size that I mentioned. But it sure would be nice, you know, but we were in this situation before. We were going to play UCLA. Had we won the USC game, everybody was kind of already talking about that UCLA matchup because that had been, at that time, 1 versus 2. We were both undefeated. So this is one of those games where it will be really fun, and we can talk about Michigan in a second. But we want to get this one to be really fun first and foremost. But, you know, that Michigan, Kim Barnes-Arico does a fantastic job. She has a lot of sophomores she's playing, and they've just had a really, really great season and battled a lot of people pretty hard. So I'm looking forward to that matchup at home in front of our great fan base. That'll be senior night, even though it's not our last game. It's Sunday is nice. You know, Taylor's from Omaha. Her family can come over. Kylie's from Illinois, right? Jada, she's got her people from Des Moines. So it just gives them a little bit more time to celebrate. So that'll be on Sunday. But first things first, let's hope we get that one on Thursday.
Yeah, you look at Purdue, and certainly you talk about their size. They've got 4 victories in the Big Ten, and it's one of those games, too, that you've done a good job against the teams that you should beat, especially on the road. But obviously another challenge, and you don't want to, as you mentioned, peek ahead to Sunday.
Yeah, and I think that's always the challenge for, any team, any coach. But this one is just a little interesting because of their size, right? They're the biggest, in the league with all those bigs. And, I'm just starting, I worked on them a little bit last night along with Abby, and just starting to get a little bit used to them. As soon as we're done, I'll go start watching more film. But we're going to have to contend with the size. They got some kids that can go downhill, and they switch on all screens, so it's a little bit different than what we just faced in the defensive side of it. But if we keep focused and just do us, I think we really can take care of business.
And a quick turnaround, so I got to pay attention to the mental side of things as well, and know that scouting report.
Yeah, it's been kind of it's a unique week, right? You're playing Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, and that's that. It's coming right into the end of the season. When you have a lot of miles on everybody's legs. So I've tried to be cognizant of that. And, we gave the team off today because, they can't continue to, go that hard. But it's, unique to have a one-day prep. Everybody in the Big Ten will have a time when they have to have just one day to prepare for somebody. So that makes every coach nervous, whether you're playing Purdue, UCLA, Michigan. If that one-day prep, you really got to put a lot on their minds for one day. So I'm going to send them, the scout today. They can at least look it over and get used to it and have a little bit more familiarity in their minds before we work on it tomorrow.
And I'm sure some come in and get some shots.
Yep. Some will definitely, and some you got to kick out of the gym, right? You got to say, okay, you need to rest those legs. But I think our team has been pretty smart this whole year, and I think they definitely will be as we finish things out.
Yeah, it's where basketball is right now. You have one-day preps, and then you can have a week-long prep, having a week off. So you just get what you get, right?
You do, and you just got to take what the next game that's up on the docket. And I've never felt you expend too much energy wishing something was different, or do we got to do this or we got to do that. It is what it is. It's the next thing. We got a one-day prep. We get to do this. It's a pretty cool gig that we all have, and so I'm just, I'm excited how we started this week off, and I'd love to get another one Thursday and finish it off with another one on Sunday.
They'd rather play games anyway, though.
Oh, A to the men. Yeah. I remember being a player. Give me 3 games back to back to back. I'll play the games, and we don't need that practice stuff,
those
Coach.
Practices, right? Well, we talked a little bit about Purdue, and that is the Civco game plan, as precision matters most when your loved one is undergoing an invasive procedure. For over 40 years, Civco has been a trusted provider for image-guided procedures, counted on to deliver outstanding service and superior quality around the world. Civco Medical Solutions, making image-guided procedures safer. We'll be back with more Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oaknall from Learfield.
Our mission at Oaknall is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oaknall is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oaknall.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Despite the unshakable Iowa-Corn-Cy-Hawk rivalry, there is one thing Iowa State and University of Iowa fans can both agree on: getting hyped for Unleaded 88. It's cleaner burning and better for your engine, and it's cheaper than other fuel options, making Unleaded 88 the clear fuel choice. If Iowa Corn-Cy-Hawk rivals can agree on it, you know it's worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, grown by Iowa corn farmers.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Ben McCullum. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
You asked for all the extreme internet performance at an all-in price, and we listened. Get 1 gig internet with a 2-year price lock and everything included. Unlimited data for non-stop streaming, powerful Wi-Fi for enhanced coverage, built-in online threat protection, and internet equipment. All for just $65 a month for 2 years. It's the extreme 1 gig internet deal you asked for. Call 844-4FASTER or visit extreme.com for details. Offer available to new customers only. Price doesn't include one-time charges, tax, and government fees.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Final segment of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, as the Hawkeyes have 2 big games this week at Purdue on Thursday and then back for Senior Day against Michigan. That's an 11 a.m. tip, and we'll be back next Monday at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar, and then just 2 regular season games before the Big Ten tournament at Indy, and that's the last time for a while, it sounds like, at Indianapolis. Going to start moving it around a little bit more.
It is. I think the next one's in Vegas, right?
And then Detroit.
I know, Vegas, Detroit. Yeah, it's all changing, but we need to embrace the change, and it'll be interesting to see if people, want to spend a little time in Vegas in a couple of years.
I know a few that
go to Motown, right, in Detroit. So. First things first, though. We know what we're getting at Indy, great sports town. So hopefully we can finish out strong here in the regular season and stay a long time in Indy and leave happy.
We've got some good memories over there in
we
Indy
do.
For sure. And it's a great sports town and a really nice setup down there. And Minneapolis worked out very well as Hawks won back-to-back Big Ten tournament championships up there. Lindsay from Decorah, try to squeeze in a question or two before we take off. Rebounding has been huge, obviously, in Big Ten play, and you want that to be on all cylinders coming down the stretch. As far as Purdue, what type of rebounding team are they with all that size underneath?
They're solid, because sometimes it's your guards that can really skew some of the numbers. Your bigs can clean it up a lot of times, but if you got some feisty guards, they can, they can do some damage.
As you have?
Yeah, we have. We really have. So I haven't watched enough of them to tell you which area that I'm more worried about, the guards of the rebounding, and I haven't even studied the numbers of how much they're out-rebounding their opponents or not. But I just know that what I'm most concerned about is that we out-rebound them, because the more you get the rebounds, that controls possessions. And usually if you have more possessions than the other team, that's going to bode well for you.
Alyssa from Mount Vernon, when a team goes on a run, like we saw at Nebraska on Monday, call timeout. What's the message to the team to try to get things steady moving forward?
Well, you kind of have to read it. Sometimes it's fire and brimstone because they need it. Sometimes you need a Zen moment. And that can be the million-dollar question. And sometimes what I may be feeling, I got to be careful because I could read it wrong. And yesterday actually was intensity with no fire and brimstone. It was more like, everybody take a second. We got to do X, Y, and Z. Sometimes if I'm not seeing urgency and effort, that's when I'm fire and brimstone, because that we can control. But yesterday it was more, we just were forgetting to force them into screens. We were forgetting to sag off some people. She's a driver. She's not a shooter. And just trying to remind them and tell them that we just needed a little bit more attention to detail. So that was kind of the tone yesterday, but it really does depend on kind of the flow of the game.
You like to call a play out of those timeout situations to try to get a good bucket?
Typically, and I usually go to who's either hottest, or if you think you can take advantage of a certain weakest link out there on defensive end. So that's kind of how I usually do it.
Yeah, well, it worked out on Monday.
It sure did. But that was all the kids, let me tell you. It usually is. They came back down and rocked it.
Well, players got to play their role, right?
That's right, absolutely.
All right, Jen, appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. God bless, go Hawks.
And thank you for tuning in to Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oaknaw. We'll be back at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar on Monday. The Ben McCullum Show next, live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar.
Dives for lunch.
The Juicy Lucy. Essentially, it's a burger, but with cheese on the inside.
James Beard Award winners for dinner.
French technique, but Midwestern ingredients. It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a deer.
At Mid-American Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Go for the big Honda savings. Save thousands on the new Honda today with 0.99% financing. Go for the selection and inventory. Honda cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs are on sale. Get as low as 0.99% APR on a new 2025 Ridgeline. Go for the most car and driver 10 best awards with 98 trophies. Search your local Honda dealer today.
See dealer for financing details. Financing on credit approval offer ends 3/2/26.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to wellmark.com/everymoment to find a plan right for you.
Attention Hawkeye fans, Big Grove is proud to be an official craft brewery of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Whether you're at the game or watching from home, Big Grove has got you covered. Enjoy an easy Eddie from the stands or visit them for every Hawkeye game at any of their 4 convenient Iowa locations in Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, or Solon. Big Grove Brewery, your official watch party headquarters of the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! Big Grove Brewery, an official craft brewery of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
In Minnesota, we don't hide from winter. We embrace it. When there's a nip in the air, we take on the trails. For every layer you wear, there's a new experience waiting for you.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, this has been Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oak Knoll Retirement Community. Oak Knoll, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City community for 59 years. Also brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Powered by the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Bud Light, proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. And by your local Ford dealers. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.